Sometimes, the deepest wounds aren't the physical ones. They're the ones left by betrayal, by loss, by having everything you thought you knew just shattered. What does it really take to heal from that, to piece yourself back together when even your own identity feels, stripped away?
And what if finding that true self, that core of who you are, is maybe the very thing that could break a cycle of history even?
Exactly. That's really the heart of it, isn't it? This deep dive, we're looking closely at one specific book, plunging into this really raw, complex journey, a character facing just devastating fallout, immense trauma, political chaos, the works.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards. Our mission here, I guess, is to unpack all those layers, the healing, the loyalty, and that kind of fierce, almost unexpected strength that tends to show up when you're pushed right to the edge.
We want to explore that intensely personal struggle, right? And see how it connects, how it threads through this much bigger fight against despair, against manipulation, and odds that just seem impossible.
And, engaging with books like this, books that are this rich and complex, it really does make you reflect, doesn't it? Makes you think critically.
It really does.
It reminds me, actually, of our YouTube channel, Mindful Moments. We delve into exactly this kind of analysis there.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great place where we use AI book analysis to offer these really unique insights into themes, ideas.
Yeah.
Helps you see stories you love from new angles.
Right. Encourages you to dig even deeper into the books we talk about. It's just one more way to connect with these, powerful narratives.
Yeah, definitely. So let's start right there then, at the absolute beginning of the narrator's return.
Yeah.
That stark, incredible moment right after he nearly died, after being brought back.
It's unforgettable, isn't it? He's just standing, covered in dirt, weak, but standing.
And those first words, delivered like a decree. Verity's alive, he's cold, but he's alive. And that's all I have to say.
And then walks out, just walks into the night. No explanation, nothing. Just that one single essential fact. It's such a powerful image, that focus amidst total chaos.
It really is. But coming back from that kind of trauma, it's not just a simple walk, is it? The book describes it so painfully, so beautifully. The process of memory returning, the past forcing its way back in.
He says, my lives began stitching themselves together, but it's not neat. There were gaps and puckers in the joining, but it was getting harder and harder to refuse to know things.
Yeah, it highlights how trauma can literally fragment you, right?
Yeah.
And recovery isn't this gentle thing. It's a forced putting back together, sometimes completely against your will.
Exactly. The past isn't just catching up. It's like it's demanding to be let back in. And you really feel the weight of that past hitting him through names.
Oh, yeah. Patience, Lacey, Celerity, Sooty. They aren't just names. The book says they rang as rich as chiming bells with memories and emotions. You feel the history vibrate with each one.
And then Molly, just speaking that name, the way it affects Birch. He almost loses his balance, catches his breath. It's so physical.
It's not just a reaction, is it? It shows the depth of his own pain, his loyalty, the secrets he's been carrying, all that unspoken burden.
And adding to that personal wreckage, there's that brutal conversation with Shade about the resurrection itself.
Right. Shade admits, what they'd done to you there was just so much damage. It wasn't clean. It was desperate, invasive, a huge physical cost.
And the psychological toll, maybe even more profound. Shade's initial fear. It's chilling. He feared they had put a wolf's soul in a man's body.
Which isn't just dramatic language, is it? It speaks volumes about how fundamentally altered the narrator seemed.
Yeah.
How deep the damage went, blurring those lines between his human self and his wit bond.
Yeah, the wolf part of him. And while he's grappling with all this internal stuff, this immediate personal chaos, the political situation Regal left behind is just devastating for the whole Steets, duchies.
Total devastation. Regal looted Buckkeep, basically just abandoned the coastal duchies. The book even quotes him saying they were only war and expense. He wished the raiders the joy of taking such a rocky and cheerless place.
It's just pure selfishness, complete abdication of duty, and that abandonment left ordinary people completely rudderless.
Yeah. Raiders were still attacking, but now they also had Regal's own men, like Lord Bright, hitting them with crazy taxes, squeezing the life out of them.
The book paints this truly grim picture, Trade collapsed, bandits on the roads, poverty everywhere. Honest folk had no chance. It's like the perfect storm, external threat, internal rot.
And caught right in the middle of all that, personal and political, is that gut-wrenching conversation about Molly. with Burridge and Chade.
Oh, that scene. The narrator's pain just erupts. That accusation. You don't see, you can't know, you can't even imagine what you've taken away from me. You just feel the raw grief.
And Burridge's response. It's heartbreaking, but it reveals all these layers, doesn't it? Duty, sacrifice, just tragic miscommunication.
He explains the promise he made to Molly about her pregnancy, a promise given by the narrator's own father, Chivalry.
Reason well.
Exactly. It wasn't malice, it was a father's last wish, passed down through secrecy and necessity, and it ultimately leads to this awful pain. It just shows how even good intentions, hemmed in by circumstance, can still cause terrible wounds.
So moving from that crucible of pain and political ruin, the book takes us on a journey away from Buckkeep.
Yeah.
And it's on this journey we start to see, strength emerging. Not from the old structures, not from titles, but from these unexpected bonds.
And the connection with Night Eyes is absolutely central to that. The wolf isn't just a pet. He's a constant, a grounding presence.
The book says, just watching him salve my heart.
Right.
Amidst all the narrator's fractured identity and trauma, Night Eyes is just there, unconditional, accepting.
And the description of him. So vivid, so alive. Every color a wolf could be. Those huge feet, the expressive tail, powerful jaws. He's this vibrant counterpoint to the narrator's internal mess and physical weakness, a reminder of that wilder, maybe more whole part of himself.
And as they travel, they meet others. There's a shepherd, briefly. And then, crucially, the minstrel, Starling.
Right. And she has her own story of survival, doesn't she? From the red ships. Tells them, the raiders left me for dead, or I'd truly be dead. She carries her own scars.
Like them, she's trying to escape, heading inland, away from the sea, away from the raiders. And the narrator finds real comfort in her company. Just hearing a Buck accent again, familiar songs from home.
It's a small thing, but vital. A piece of normalcy, of connection, in a world that's just been completely broken by violence and betrayal.
And then comes that really fascinating moment. Starling sings about the battle at Antler Island Tower.
Yes.
And in her song, she names the narrator explicitly as the one who killed the raider chief. The book says, in Starling's song, it certainly was.
And that's where you see the power of narrative, right? The power of story. Even for someone trying to hide, trying to be nobody, their actions take on a life of their own in the tales people tell.
Starling's song isn't just entertainment. It's shaping his reputation, creating a legend around him, maybe even reclaiming some of the agency Regal tried to wipe out. It shows how identity isn't just internal, it's also forged by how others see you, how they tell your story.
Yeah, definitely. The journey continues, though, and it leads to another confrontation with the past. They run into Bolt again.
Bolt. The narrator's reaction is just visceral. The fear is so real. Every evil memory I had of him suddenly flooded my mind. I swear I even recalled the smell of him. The wretched sickness of fear filled me.
It's not just facing an enemy. It's like reliving the trauma Regal and his coterie inflicted.
But in the confrontation that follows, in killing Bolt, the narrator feels oddly strengthened.
It's dark, isn't it? A complex kind of reclaiming power. Not clean, not simple morality, but it feels like a significant turning point. Moving from being just a victim of Regal's thugs to someone who can actually fight back, defend himself, defend others. It's resilience forged in violence, really. A complicated step on that path to recovery.
This whole journey eventually leads them to Blue Lake, a place with its own history of loss, kind of mirroring the Duckies themselves.
Right. It used to be this rich agricultural area, famous for its unique wine, but drought, fire, they devastated it. Now it's just this sort of hardscrabble trade town reliant on caravans passing through.
And it's here, in this place marked by lost richness, that they meet Kettle. And we get introduced to this huge, kind of terrifying concept, the White Prophet.
Kettle has this sweeping theory of history. She sees it as all of history, a great wheel, turning inexorably. Humanity is trapped on that wheel. Very deterministic, cyclical.
And within that cycle, White Prophets pop up in these critical moments. Their job to set history on a better course.
But the really chilling part is, if they're ignored or if they fail, time gets shoved onto a darker path. It's such a heavy idea, this immense, almost impossible responsibility on just a few individuals to basically avert disaster for everyone.
And Kettle herself, she embodies this deep connection to history, to knowledge. Her cart isn't just stuff, it's full of books, scrolls and writings from many lands.
She's on her own quest, really. A scholar searching for these elusive prophets, trying to figure out the patterns of history.
As their journey pushes on towards the Mountain Kingdom, there's this growing sense, you can almost feel it in the air, skill power, It's described as becoming as effortless as breathing.
It's a sign they're getting closer to the source of this ancient magic. And Kettle reveals a bit about her own past. She was once powerful in the skill, strong enough to kill with it, as few are.
So she's not just some dusty scholar then. She has a history with this power, which kind of hints at her own potential role in whatever's coming.
Exactly. And the journey builds towards this huge discovery, something that connects the ancient past right to their desperate present need, the elderling statues in the quarry.
Incredible images. The dragon, the stagman, the winged boar, these powerful ancient figures. Kettricken and Starling are just awestruck, cries of heavens and look.
But the narrator, with his wit sense, he feels something else, something deeper and frankly profoundly unsettling. He senses life. Trapped inside the stone.
Yeah, living stone, trapped and flightless forever. He feels the trapped anguish of the girl on a dragon statue. It's not just rock. It's sentient life held captive for centuries.
He quests it, with his wit. Feels its longing, its fundamental nature. It sought the feel of wind on skin, the warm pumping of blood it hungered for.
Which reveals something just incredible and disturbing about these stones. They aren't inert relics. They're powerful living beings, basically waiting for release or reawakening.
And this is where Verity's desperate, almost monumental goal snaps into focus. The ancient elderlings, they're too deep asleep. He can't reach them.
So he's trying something. Well, unheard of. He's trying to make his own elderling, pouring his life force, his skill, into the stone dragon.
It's presented as more than just magic. It's this necessary, positive action, a last-ditch effort to create the power they need to fight the red ships, to save the kingdom, even at the ultimate personal cost.
Which brings us to the moment they finally find him. Verity. And he's just utterly skill-drained, a shadow.
Describes a gaunt skeleton, the very embodiment of weary purpose. You could just see the sacrifice etched onto him. The book emphasizes how the flesh of his arms and hands is impregnated with raw power. Like, you can literally see the magic consuming him.
Kettricken's reaction.
Yeah.
It's just raw grief. Let me go to him.
Yeah.
But the narrator has to physically hold her back, explain the danger, the sheer magic pouring out Verity's hands. I do not know what would happen to you were he to touch you.
It's such a stark, painful moment, the isolation, the danger that comes with wielding that kind of power for everyone else's survival. His love for her is absolute, but his very touch is now a threat.
And the tension that's been building, it just explodes in the quarry, the attack by Bolt and Will.
Right. And even facing that, the Fool shows this incredible, unexpected bravery, clinging to the dragon statue for dear life, feet braced against the girl's shoulders, even though he gets injured. It's real physical courage from someone usually defined by, wit and prophecy.
That attack just triggers something visceral in the narrator. Facing Regal's men again, seeing his friends threatened, it pushes him to act. He kills Burl. For the second time that night, I cut a throat.
It's a return to those dark skills he was trained in. Necessary defense, yeah, but a reminder of the violence he carries.
And then Will. He unleashes that devastating skill attack, specifically designed to rip information out of it, information that could get his wife and child killed. It's psychic violation.
But in that ultimate moment of threat, he's not alone. Night Eyes is there, inside him, a wolf waiting. The book emphasizes it so powerfully. But within me, a wolf was waiting for him, my brother, Night Eyes.
Their bond, their merged consciousness, it becomes a shield against the most insidious kind of attack.
And in the chaos, the bloody aftermath, the Fool injured, but clear-eyed makes this pronouncement that just reframes everything.
I am the catalyst, and I came to change all things. Prophets become warriors, dragons hunt as wolves.
Wow. It's not just cryptic words, is it? It transforms their whole desperate struggle into something fated, world-changing. It basically declares that destiny isn't fixed.
The old roles are broken. The prophet, the fool, becomes a warrior clinging to that statue. The dragon, the elderling, might hunt as wolves, implying that wit connection.
Yeah, it highlights the unexpected strengths, the redefined roles these characters broken and lost as they seem have to embody now to fulfill whatever this destiny is.
And this brings us back, doesn't it, to healing, to the possibility of hope, both for the narrator and for the kingdom.
Kettle offers this positive theory, maybe cautious, but positive for the narrator's recovery. The skill damage from Will. She acknowledges killing Will's coterie member fractured him. In killing him, you killed a part of yourself.
But she suggests, doesn't she, that someone with enough skill strength could potentially open me to it again. Yeah. Could help you heal yourself.
Right. It's not magic erasing the damage. It's finding a way to access and integrate those fractured parts of himself, a path towards a complex kind of wholeness. Healing isn't just recovery from wounds, it's maybe remastering his own power.
And even Verity, in that near-spent state, performs this incredibly crucial, hopeful act of leadership.
Sending the young soldier, Tag, back to Buckkeep.
Yeah. It's not just sending a messenger. It's an act of profound trust, entrusting this symbol of the kingdom's future with vital information.
And the message itself is so clear, so powerful, a beacon against Regal's tyranny. Verity is returning, with Ketrican, to claim the throne. Yeah. And their heir will follow.
Single action, sending Tag, it sows the seeds of resistance, right? Establishes the legitimate line of succession, gives people something concrete to hold on to, loyalty-wise, while they're suffering under Regal.
It's leadership in its purest form, really, showing that hope can survive even in the absolute bleakest circumstances.
You know, stories like this book, characters facing impossible odds, navigating betrayal, loss, the weight of prophecy.
Yeah.
It really does make you think about your own resilience, your own sense of purpose, how defining moments shape us.
They really do. And if digging into these layers, understanding the motivations, the themes, if that's something you find fascinating, remember our Mindful Moments channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
We used AI analysis there to offer some really unique perspectives on the books you care about, hopefully inspiring more reflection, more critical thinking.
And definitely check out our podcasts for more deep dives into fascinating topics, compelling narratives, just like this one we've been discussing.
So we've kind of journeyed through it all, haven't we? The raw aftermath, trauma, political collapse, finding strength and loyalty in these unexpected bonds, uncovering ancient secrets, and embracing the idea that maybe, just maybe, fate itself can be changed.
Right. And understanding these kinds of stories, it isn't just about enjoying a good read. It's about thinking critically, isn't it? About the forces that shape destinies, whether it's in a fantasy world or, frankly, our own. How do things like trauma, loyalty, prophecy, the sheer weight of history, even the bond with an unexpected companion, how do they fundamentally change the course of events?
It leaves you with that really powerful, lingering question from the book itself, I think. Can one person, broken and lost, truly be the catalyst the world needs?
What does it mean when prophets have to become warriors? When ancient magic demands such immense sacrifice? And when hope is found in the most unlikely, maybe the most damaged places?
Lots to think about.
Definitely. If you found this deep dive compelling, please subscribe to the deep dive wherever you get your podcasts. That way you won't miss our future explorations.
And maybe share this with a friend. Someone who loves rich, complex stories that really get into the human condition.
Absolutely. And look for links in the show notes if you'd like to grab the book and experience this incredible journey for yourself.
And always keep thinking critically.